say something regarding the press conference made by the Minister of Information, Alhaji Lai Mohamed, about 2 days ago, regarding the killing of 2 policemen in Anambra State. That press conference was made in bad faith to overreach Nnamdi Kanu and to influence the judiciary. The case is in court. Lai Mohammed was not supposed to make that comment on a matter that is in court. If he had any evidence against Nnamdi Kanu, he should go through the Attorney General to the court. Using the social media platform or calling of press conferences does not warrant what he's doing. You don't duplicate the functions of the court. We have a court of competent jurisdiction in Abuja trying the matter, and you are trying another person, the same person, in another court, in your own office or any other place. It's unlawful. And impinging it on the person of IPOB or the person of Nnamdi Kanu and IPOB is vindictive, because you have no evidence to prove that the people that killed or murdered the 2 policemen are members of IPOB. You have no evidence. You have not caught any of them. None of them confessed to you that he was a member of IPOB. He said from reliable sources, reliable evidence. Which reliable sources? When the correctional center in Owerri was invaded, so many prisoners left the prison. More than 1,000 people. Most of these prisoners are roaming the streets today, committing crimes. Many of them are even, covering their faces in the bush. Professing wars, attack, violence. Are they members of IPOB? Even these people now who left the correctional centers, the prison, if you carry them in the street, they say they are members of IPOB because they have no other body or any other person they can say they belong to. Are they members of IPOB? They are not. So it's very, very wrong for the person of the Minister of Information to say that the people that kill the policemen are members of IPOB. In its entirety, I'm against violence, and I'm against the killing of law enforcement agents. I mean, against it. I've been saying it over time. But you cannot pinpoint a particular group simply because you are holding their leader. You are trying their leader. You're trying to influence the judiciary. It's very wrong, very, very wrong. The second thing I want to say, though Lai Mohammed tried to do that wrong thing in law, he also helped us to know that the federal government has no evidence against Nnamdi Kanu. There's this one guy he mentioned, a man, I can read. He says, a man, we have credible information that ASP Francis Idoko, Inspector Emmanuel Akobo, and the Inspector Rufai Adamu, all serving officers of Nigerian police, were abducted by members of ESN acting on the instructions of their leader, Chinonso Okafor, aka Temple, on the 27th of November 2021. He mentioned Chinonso Okafor, alias Temple, as the leader of the people that murdered the policemen. So, he also said, in the statement issued on Monday by Segun Adeyemi, his media assistant, Mohamed said the killing of security agents is a direct attack on the state, adding that those calling for political solution are yet to condemn the killing of police officers by ESN. He has admitted here that one Chinonso Okafor ordered the killing of the policemen. Then he's saying again here that those calling for political solution in Nnamdi Kanu's case should condemn the act before calling for political solution. What has this one now got to do with Nnamdi Kanu? Nnamdi Kanu is in detention. Another crime was committed somewhere. Then you are attaching it to Nnamdi Kanu. How can you explain this type of vindictive approach? Somebody you kept in detention. Something was committed somewhere, a crime was committed somewhere. You are not even sure whether it was committed by his group or not. You are attaching it to him, saying that those who are clamoring for political solution should first condemn the person you are holding. Are you the court? That means already you have condemned him for doing nothing. Now, okay, this Chinonso Okafor, alias Temple, is the henchman, as you are saying. You say he's so influential in the Southeast to the extent that he is coordinating both Imo and Anambra for ESN, which means invariably he's coordinating the entire East. And this person, you have not even arrested him. You have not arrested him. He has not given any information or any evidence. And you quickly arrested Nnamdi Kanu. Then from where will you get your proof of evidence? That means that this particular case has no proof of evidence. That means you have no evidence because this is a principal witness, the person that coordinates the entire Southeast. You have not apprehended him. You have not gotten any information from him. The information you will use against Nnamdi Kanu should be provided by him because Nnamdi Kanu was not in Nigeria when all these things were happening. He probably would be using this man, if actually. Then you have not even gotten the man. Then you are keeping him and taking long adjournments in order to shop for evidence. You take long adjournments, the federal government takes long adjournment to shop for evidence against Nnamdi Kanu, the evidence they have not procured. Is it justiciable? Is that what the law says? It's very unfair. It's very unfair. No wonder the Attorney General came up to say that he would consider political solution because you have no evidence. A person as important as someone who coordinates the two states, the two major states in Southeast, who commands people to kill, even when his principal is in detention. You have not gotten him. Then you are holding another person. In criminal, there is no vicarious liability in criminal law, where the offense committed by another person is punished on another person. Chinonso, whatever, what is that his name? Chinonso Kafo is a grown-up man. If he commits any offense, he should face the offense. I'm not Nnamdi Kanu. In criminal law, if you commit any crime, you face the crime you committed. I'm not any other person. He's not a minor. Okay. If Nnamdi Kanu was in London and commanded him to kill people, and he did that, now that Nnamdi Kanu is in detention and he's still killing people, who is influencing him? Who is he killing people for? If Nnamdi Kanu is not influencing him now that he's in prison or in detention, what makes you think that that time he was killing people, saying it was in the name of Nnamdi Kanu? What makes you think that actually it was in the name of Nnamdi Kanu? Supposing you even catch him today, and he tells you that he doesn't know anything about Nnamdi Kanu, and that Nnamdi Kanu is not even his principal. So all this, you are holding Nnamdi Kanu for a very long time. How will you pay for it? How will you justify it? Just a few days ago, some members of MASOB were released from prison after spending 15 good years in prison. The state released them for lack of evidence. It's only in Nigeria that this kind of evil can take place. You kept a group of people, a group of young men for 15 good years, 15 solid years, and later released them when you knew you had no evidence against them. And this is what you are doing too. On Nnamdi Kanu now. You know you have no evidence to prove your case, and you are keeping him, shopping for evidence, forum shopping, looking for evidence. In law, in capital offenses, evidence, proof of evidence and charge sheet goes in pari passu. If the judge looks at your charge sheet and looks at your proof of evidence and sees that the proof of evidence cannot sustain your charges, he will throw the case away. He will throw the case away. Where you have independence of judiciary, there would be even no plea. But in Nigeria, you arrest an innocent person, you keep him and start shopping for information, evidence against the person. He will stay there for till their kingdom come. It's a wrong system, a bad system. When you say political solution, in a case you know you have no evidence to try the person, you are benefiting from your own wrongdoing. You are not supposed to try that person when you are not convinced that he committed the offense. Then you say political solution. In a case you have no evidence, then people will start begging you for your own wrongdoing. All these people in the north and the other places who say they are opposed to Nnamdi Kanu's political solution, blah, blah, blah. Go and bring evidence now. If Lai Mohamed did not call this press conference, I wouldn't personally have known that he has no evidence against Nnamdi Kanu. No wonder even Nnamdi Kanu's lawyer, Ejimofo. No, not that one. Ejiofor said, when he read the charge sheet, said that the charge sheet was so worthwhile. It was an ordinary piece of paper. It's not an ordinary piece of paper, it's a toilet tissue. Because there's no proof of evidence. I'm a lawyer. Besides being a lawyer, I have gone through this process so many times. My case in the Supreme Court is a legal classicus. When they talk of a bail application in the Supreme Court, my case is a legal classicus. Because I stayed for 2 years plus arguing bail application in the Supreme Court. So I know what I'm saying. Law permits Criminal Procedure Act that there must be strong proof of evidence in capital offenses, and that the judge has to weigh the proof of evidence vis-a-vis the charge sheet. To convince a person in court is not easy, not even when you talk of capital offenses. Even when a suspect pleads guilty, the judge doesn't enter guilty for him. He will enter not guilty because it's the place of the prosecution to prove him guilty, not the accused person to prove his innocence. It's not enough to say that the accused person proved guilty or pled guilty. Then you entered guilty for him because he pleaded guilty. No, the prosecution must do his work to prove the accused person guilty. Even the IPOB coming up to say they are not the people who killed the policeman. Well, it's in order, but then they're not under obligation to say that because the case is in court. If you think it's IPOB, go to court and prove it. The IPOB has no obligation to prove their innocence. So, from the information we got from Lai Mohamed, I think the best thing that Attorney General should do, please, is to release Nnamdi Kanu. Because you have no proof of evidence. That you don't have this chin on soul car for your custody means that you have no proof of evidence. Because any evidence you have other than his is a hearsay evidence. Because he is the main person controlling Imo and Anambra. And by extension, the entire Southeast. If you don't have him in your custody, you have no evidence from him. You have no information from him. Any other evidence you have is hearsay evidence, which is not admissible in law. So what Lai Mohamed has succeeded in doing is telling the entire world that they have no evidence against Nnamdi Kanu. I have been happy since last night. I was so happy. I didn't know, that these people didn't have any evidence against Nnamdi Kanu. Why then are you keeping him? Please do the needful, and urgently too. Do the needful. Release him. If you release him, any other procedure, negotiation can take place. Because it cannot benefit from your own wrong. You are wrong by arresting him without enough evidence. Then you want people to start begging you now upon your inability to procure enough evidence to try him. Then you are picking days, 3 months, 4 months to shop for evidence. It's illegal. It's illegal. It's against judicial process. That's what I really want to say this morning. And I believe that men of goodwill will look into this and know that the things that are happening in Nigeria is so bad. So bad. Look at a situation where a group of young men were detained for 15 good years and released later on grounds of no evidence. And then check now, an innocent person is being detained again under frivolous charges. Some people are saying, someone is saying, radio, far away London, do this, do this, do. So if somebody asks you to go and kill another person, that justifies you to kill another person. You are justified. If somebody asks you to go and kill your mother, you go and kill your mother because somebody asked you to kill your mother. Or if somebody asks you to hang yourself, you go and hang yourself and say, somebody in London said through the phone or through the radio that I should hang myself, you hang yourself. So if you hang yourself, the person that committed the offense is the person in England. That is rubbish. So some people will think that it is easy to prove all these cases because you had someone shouting on the radio and all that. You think it's grounds for conviction. Things don't work out that way. Things don't really work out that way. So those who are calling for Nnamdi Kanu's trial, judicial trial, you think that is the end of the matter. You will be defeated. You will be defeated because the court of law is for everybody, unless the government wants to be funny. Unless the government